Greetings everyone, this is the Angry Nerd, and now we're back to the top 10 questions that Protestant Christians ask Catholic Christians. Number 3, why do you guys worship wafers? We don't. What an absurd thing to say. If you're referring to the communion bread and wine, we believe that it is the actual body and blood of Christ. Oh, and you know who also believed this? Protestant reformer Martin Luther. And I think John Calvin believed it as well. However, there were even some reformers who differed from him, but I would have to disagree with them. Because there have even been laboratory analyses done on communion bread and wine, and they come back bearing human DNA. Coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think Christ was being poetic. If we look, Luke 22, verses 19 through 20, and he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." And likewise, the cup, after they had eaten, saying, "This cup is poured out for you, is the new covenant in my blood." Question number 4. Why do you guys worship Mary? Seriously? This accusation again? We don't worship Mary. Equally absurd. Also, you want to know who else venerated Mary? Protestant reformers, John Calvin, and even Martin Luther. And I myself, even as a Protestant, did some veneration of Mary, asking her to pray for peace between Ukraine and Russia. If you want to see that music video, link is in the description below. When I added up there. If you're referring to the rosary, well, we are citing 2 different Bible verses. For example, because you may ask, Luke 1:28, and he came to her and said, "Greetings, O favored one, the Lord is with you." Or in the King James Version, "Hail to you, O favored one, the Lord is with thee." And then, skip down to verse 42, and she exclaimed with a loud cry, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And why is it granted to me that the mother of my Lord should come to me?" You see, because all of this is emphasis that she is the mother of God, emphasizing that Jesus has both a human nature and a divine nature. 2 different natures, but none of them contradicting each other, and not 2 different personalities, like one human personality and one divine personality, because there was a group of heretics called the Nestorians who dared to suggest that Jesus had 2 personalities, a human one and a divine one, and that Jesus died for us, but it wasn't God who died for us. And another excuse for this was they claimed that Mary was not the mother of God, even though here this was clearly denounced by the Council of Ephesus in 430 AD, when they went back to this passage in Luke, as to where Elizabeth said, "Who am I that the mother of my Lord should come to me?" Also, there are 2 different definitions of praying. You might want to go back to the English dictionary if you make this accusation. There's prayer as in pleading, and prayer as in worship. So I pray you to stop making such confounded accusations. There, did I just worship you? No! And now, question number 5. Why do you confess your sins to a priest? Well, it's not just the Catholics who do this. It's also the Eastern Orthodox. And also, look at John 20:23. Now, I remember on several occasions when reading the Bible through chapter to chapter or cover to cover in a year with my parents, and I stumbled across John 20:23, and then I'm thinking, oh, so that's why Catholics confess their sins to priests. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven. If you withhold forgiveness from any, it is withheld. I truly believe that a God-fearing Christian priest will forgive. And I believe, technically, that they are given the gift of discernment as to determine whether or not said confession is genuine. That's my theory, anyway. And yes, one should go straight to God to confess their sins. And I would say, of course, there have been corrupt priests. And a corrupt priest would probably try to withhold forgiveness. But if he doesn't forgive the one who's confessing, I would say, then God would probably not forgive him. My own personal theology, of course, is complicated on this. But also, if we look at James chapter 5, verses 16, "Therefore confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person has great power as it is working." Now, there's a Catholic misconception claiming that Martin Luther wanted to remove the book of James from biblical canon, but in reality, he just considered that epistle of James to be not as important as the other epistles. I would disagree with him. And I even disagreed with him even when I was a Protestant. Now, of course, I do believe that there are Protestants who can be Christians, as well as Orthodox and other congregations. But I would that the church would be united. And that is what I'm going to cover on this channel. My primary goal is to win people to Christ. If I could win just one soul to Christ, that will be worth it. Secondary goal is to try to win other Christians to Catholicism. Oh, and another primary goal is to strengthen the faith of other Christians, as well as educate them throughout church history and whatnot. So anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps out the channel. When you do that, please pray for me. Anyways, God bless. Peace be with you. Angry Nerd out.